Louis Amistoy's talking in the background. I'm Zach. Trevor's over there. Lina Washington's here. Hello. She knows something about a camera or two.
Speak into the mic, Lina.
Many of them.
It's so much better to have you here than that other guy.
Paul Gola?
Yeah, Gola is a disaster. But no, that other guy. What was that guy's name? That's gone? Went to the high desert. Where was he at?
Oh, that Mark Haas guy?
Yeah, where did he go?
He went to Denver.
He's going where I'm going
home.
next week.
Is that where he went? It was Denver?
No, that's where I'm going next week.
Well, no
But
one
yeah,
cares
he
about
went to
you.
Denver.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
If
Back
you-
home?
If you say one more thing about Pearl Jam, I'm kicking you out.
Pearl
of here.
Jam.
Pearl Jam.
Pearl Jam.
I'm not.
Like, how old are you, man?
Listen to
I
Pearl Jam.
am a lover of great music.
Hey, I was watching. I have to watch the Voice, which I think is on KGET.
It is.
Because my daughter and my wife like the show, and
You like
one of the guys had never heard of a Paul McCartney. Had really never heard of a Paul McCartney song. Baby, I'm amazed. Maybe I'm amazed. Can you believe that? Can you believe
He's
that?
obviously going to be the voice.
I know. Yeah. Yep.
We can sing some Pearl Jam.
I do a pretty good Eddie Vedder, I think.
That's pretty good.
Let's hear it.
Jeremy's broken.
That's really good.
I don't know.
Yeah, but the
Close.
problem with the song is that you can't understand what they're trying to say. Have you've seen those YouTube videos with different lyrics for that?
Yeah, and I've also seen the old Adam Sandler where he was like the opera man and would do Eddie Vedder. No,
Man,
I
no.
just date myself.
No, I don't think I've
Dating
seen that
yourself
one.
there.
Yeah,
You are old.
you might be older than Lou.
Thank
Are
you,
Are
Nick.
you a grandfather yet?
No, but he is.
I am.
Wow.
I am. Yes. Thank you.
Grandpa Louie.
Here, we're gonna get a picture of you. Look at that. All right.
Okay.
I'm a nerd.
Nick, we have rankings. Are we good on that, or are we still? I'm gonna talk some.
Nick Dorado, our rookie.
We do have
director.
some rankings. All right. Let's kick up the section rankings that I put together that are probably terrible.
How come there's not a vote? How come Lina and
we should
have a vote?
Tell me what's wrong with my rankings, Lina.
Well, I mean, I haven't really seen any of the other Central Section teams.
Not that I have either.
So-
I'm just looking at data. That's pretty much what I do.
Yeah.
From Star Trek. Bad joke.
Seriously, man, you're just better off keeping
Throwing
your
it
mouth
back.
shut. You're just better off keeping your mouth shut over
TBT,
there.
Trevor.
Yay.
All right. So anyway, Frontier. You have probably seen Frontier a couple times this year.
I have.
What's wrong with Frontier? What's going on?
Well, Isaiah Sharp is kind
That's
of a big
true.
hit. But you know what? They have the weapons. I don't know what's going on. Nick Santoro's looking good. Maybe he just doesn't have the power to score as much and as often as we'd like.
I
them
wonder
to
about
do.
their depth, especially without Isaiah. And I
Yeah.
don't know if you agree with that, Trevor, but
No, and I do, and I think it'll be interesting to see what they do this week. If Elijah Hill's going to stay a quarterback, or if Greg Youngblood's going to come in. I like Youngblood for the simple fact that that guy can just get out of the pocket and just scoot down the field. And it'll be interesting to see if he can do that against the Drillers tomorrow night.
they got shut out against Liberty, and it's not a good sign if you're going against BHS.
Well, it's hard when you
Yeah.
rush. I think it was like 86 yards on 26 carries against Liberty. And granted, Liberty is a really good defensive team, but it's hard to come back from that and then go up against the Drillers the next week. But that just shows the depth and the strength of the SWIL.
New to the rankings this week, both Tulare Western, which beat up on Delano, and their only loss, by the way, is to Madera, who we're going to see in a minute. And then Cesar Chavez at number 23 is new to the ranks. Have you seen Chavez?
I only what we bring back from the half of the game that we go to, but I mean, if numbers never lie, that's a pretty good record, and I don't think anyone really predicted it. Maybe besides the coach,
Yeah,
you know?
in that locker
So-
room, and it's a first-year coach. It's really an amazing story.
Very good
It
defensive
really
effort,
is.
only giving up 10 points at BCHS on Friday night in that win. It's a big one.
It's statement win, I think.
Yep.
And I think they have Wasco this week, and then after that they've got Kennedy. So things aren't going to be easy for them. But I mean, 10-0 is there. It's out there.
Yeah.
Just like it is for Kern
Well,
Valley.
Taft is not going to be an easy win ever. I mean, there's 3 top end teams in SSL, and then Taft's right up there too. And Shafter, if they can right the ship, I don't know if they can. They're always there, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's scoot it up to the top 20 here. And San Joaquin Memorial lost to Edison. They were undefeated. CVC also suffered its first loss last week. And then you see Stockdale a couple of spots ahead of Centennial.
Mm-hmm.
How much did that result surprise you?
You know what? I haven't, offensively at least, I feel like both these teams aren't going full tilt.
That was definitely true in the first half.
Yeah.
That was definitely true.
So,
It was ugly.
0-0
it
at
was-
half.
Yeah, that's my photographer texted me, is like, this is boring. And then he ended up saying for obviously the
That's
last
when you tell
3
him.
seconds.
Quiet. Be quiet.
Yeah.
Get up there and do
Just
your
watch
job.
the game.
Heed your own advice, Lewis.
Stockdale, I mean, they're fighters. They had a couple tough breaks, and now they're responding, and it's like karma coming back to serve them well.
That's a good way to describe them. I think they never seem like they're out of it. They're not going to blow very many teams out, but they're never
Right.
out of it either. So, moving into the top 15 here, there you see Madera at 11, and they moved up 10 spots this week after beating Bullard. And that's what happens when you're undefeated, but you haven't really played anybody, and then you do play somebody, and you're still undefeated. You move up. Bullard 12, Mission Oak at 13, Liberty Madera, Division 4 team, moving up to 14, and then Clovis West. I mean, Liberty Madera just keeps putting up these enormous numbers, and you said numbers never lie. I think they scored 83 points at Yosemite last week. So
We kind of had a
Jeez.
feeling that this was going to be a special offensive team, but this has been ridiculous.
I know a couple people, I had them, I think, 17th or 18th to start the year, and they don't play a good schedule, so there's no room to move up, really. But a couple people said, what are they doing up there? And I said, just watch. I really think there's something special this year.
Yeah.
Top 10. In the top 10, we've got a couple of Kings County teams, Lemoore and Hanford.
Is it Lemur or Lemoore?
More?
No, it's not Leper. It's Lemoore. And,
Lemur?
yeah.
This is what we
And
deal with.
A couple of track teams there at 9 and 10. They play each other this week, Central and Clovis. And then in the top 5, Clovis North. Right now, the track, their highest ranked team at number 5. You don't see that very often.
A lot of parity in the track.
Yeah, a lot. And a couple of teams that maybe aren't very good. In fact, if you look at, I can't remember the exact number, but the CMAC, which is the conference, the league with Edison and Bullard and Madera, and that went like 11-2 against the track this year. And they never even had a winning record against the track. And this year they went 10-2 or 11-2 or something. So really an amazing performance by the CMAC, and maybe time to worry about the track a little bit. And then the 3 Bakersfield teams there at 2, 3, and 4. Not a whole lot separates those 3 teams, I don't think. Is that how you
No.
would order them?
Yes, that's exactly how I would order them.
Obviously, Bakersfield beat Ridgeview, Ridgeview beat Liberty, so you have to
By default. that's-
results on the field.
Right. And then Fresno Edison beat BHS.
Right.
So, yeah, I would go with that. Ridgeview, I mean, I would like to see them go all the way. They put up a fight against BHS. I thought that was expected.
Definitely could have won that game.
They definitely
got a couple of
could've.
bounces. Yep.
And then Liberty, Anthony Mariscal.
Is a dude.
He's a baller.
He
He's
is
going
a
to the
dude.
wrong college.
He's
but
not I was going to ask you about that.
the
That's
wrong
Arizona.
university. That's what I've told him multiple times. We get into it back and forth, friendly. But
What do you have against Tucson?
Lina went to ASU.
come on, man.
It's not really a college. It's kind of a big city.
Yes,
Tucson,
I'm not going to
Tucson's
say.
an interesting place.
But I thought
It
Arizona
is.
State wasn't a college, just a great place to party.
And you could get degrees there too. That's the other perk
Whoa.
of going there.
Party and get
But
a
going
degree
back to
sometimes.
Ridgeview, I mean,
Yeah.
there's no given that they're going to just run through D2 at all. You've got a great D2 schedule. Dinuba's in there,
Lemoore.
Lemoore. I mean, it's going to be fun this year.
Memorial. Yeah, a
Memorial,
lot,
yeah.
lot of good teams in division.
Well, Memorial, I think, got handled by Edison, but I mean, they're going to be interesting to see how they shape up, and then the great Lemur Leopards or whatever they are, they're going to be they're solid too. I mean, their results are pretty impressive. So I'm
They
I'm
beat
real
Clovis-
curious.
Clovis
Well, and I
by
think
2
it was-
touchdowns.
Yeah, right.
We go back to what you and I were talking about, Zach, last week, is I think that D1, when you look at it, when it's Edison, it's Bakersfield, it's Liberty, and there's a little bit of a drop-off. I mean, maybe Clovis North, it is a very talented team, but they are 3-3. That you see, it's kind of top-heavy in D1, but with D2, we're going to see some quality games in the quarterfinals and definitely in the semifinals going through.
Yeah, and there's no doubt about that, and that's the good part of the competitive equity that the section does. I think it punishes some teams, but it also gives us great D1, D2, and even D3 playoff brackets.
Don't we have a guest who we're going to ask some important questions about?
I don't know what you're.
How's the new gig? By
Yeah, how is the new job?
Yeah, congratulations.
Lina Washington,
Yeah.
the sports director at
Yeah, that's
KGET
right.
Channel 17.
I couldn't understand. I thought it was like you were just automatically promoted. That's what it seemed like.
No, there's protocol, and it happened so quickly that I literally, Mark got his job in Denver, left for an interview on Monday, came back Tuesday, got the job, and I was just like, what do I do? I threw
Yeah.
my hat in the ring, but I was it was a couple weeks before football. I knew what I was taking on. It was a little bit overwhelming of a thought. But
Were you the acting sport? As soon as Mark left, I mean, did they slip you in as like an interim sports director to that role, kind of?
I mean, without that actual title, but yeah, I mean, I was doing all the duties by myself. Still working weekends, so we just brought in another Arizona State alum to.
Well,
There's about
School
4,700 of them in Bakersfield right now, right?
Yeah, they're all at KERO.
Right.
Well, mostly.
And then and you've got two at KGET. Well, I mean, I have been so impressed by the quality of education that the Arizona State grads have. In previous jobs, I've considered as many as 4 in there. It just was an experience issue, but the quality of education they're getting out there is pretty amazing. So if you're a young journalist and want to go into broadcast or into what Zach's doing, this is the best place to go. Forget Missouri.
Never
go to
forget
ASU.
Missouri. Never. Just forget about Saturday's football game. That's all I ask.
Yeah.
So anyway, you were then officially named sports director when last week?
Yeah, a couple weeks ago. I mean, I
couple weeks,
signed the contract, and then it was just kind of still in limbo in terms of when we were going to hire somebody else to be the weekend sports anchor. So then now the title's been shifted officially.
Right.
So who is the weekend?
We should
sports
drag
anchor?
Bob Price in here to ask him, when was the last time we had a woman as a sports director in Bakersfield? That's probably a good question because you have a lot of long-term people that have been here for a long time, KRO's all had men. Greg Kerr's been...
Greg Kerr's like a short timer, though, right?
Yeah, he's only been there for like 29, 30 years. So, yeah. So, what did... Mark Haas was a friend of our show, and he called in a lot and it was great. Now, what did you learn from him, and how tough was it to see him leave? Because he was a great guy.
Yeah, I mean, I was so fortunate, to even land in Bakersfield out of the hundreds of markets for media markets, and then to get a sports job, which is what I wanted, and,
Right.
In a great sports market, and then to have Mark be my sports director and be my mentor, I guess you would say, for the year and a half he was here with me. He was great. I mean, he was very helpful, very supportive. He always made it fun. I, kind of didn't know what I was doing February 2013, so he wasn't. He was very instrumental in letting me be where I am today.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
Thanks, Mark.
Here you are, less than 2 years later, sitting in the throne, right?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I could not have predicted that for myself.
That's
but
awesome.
It is awesome.
Well, congratulations. We're going to take a
Thank
break.
you.
Will you stick around and do some predictions with us? I know you do them on
Absolutely.
your show anyway, so you'll be ready to go.
Yeah,
We'll be
let's do
right
it.
back on BVarsity Live after this. Did you print out predictions?